Nancy Pelosi made. I'm not going to get too much into the everything about the story because if you guys follow the news as closely as many people in my audience do, you are probably already aware that Nancy Pelosi took that not controversial, provocative trip to Taiwan last week. In the middle of all of this rhetoric, Biden talking about, oh yeah, I'll definitely go to war with China over Taiwan, and he said that repeatedly. The U.S. giving billions of dollars worth of weapons to Taiwan. So during all of this, the Chinese government is fuming and livid about it all, and out of the blue, Nancy Pelosi decides, you know what? I'm going to take a trip to Taiwan, and which the Chinese government saw as extremely disrespectful, and as if they were basically choosing to side with Taiwan in their little spat, or this big spat actually. And so they would tell Nancy Pelosi not to go, and they'd be violating their sovereignty. And they were very specific about that language that they were using. That Nancy Pelosi going to Taiwan uninvited would be violating China's sovereignty, and they would have to retaliate. So people were joking that Nancy Pelosi's plane was going to get shut down. I didn't really think that was actually going to happen, but it definitely was a completely unnecessary and provocative action that just escalated the situation between the U.S., China, and Taiwan. And people over there racking their brains around like, why would she do this? And it doesn't make any sense, or whatever. And what do you know? Same with Nancy Pelosi, it always comes down to which way the money is coming in and does the check clear. That's all that matters. So, a few weeks ago, Nancy Pelosi did some more insider trading as usual. This isn't a story that I've talked about too much on this channel, but I should definitely do a better job of discussing it more. But Nancy Pelosi is known for using the insider information that she has as the Speaker of the House, the number 3 most powerful person in government, next in line. She's in number 3 in line to be president of the United States, and has incredible control and influence in government. And she uses her, and of course, just the fact that she's a politician and a lawmaker, she has information on that will affect stocks, information that regular people won't have. That's called inside information. And it's illegal to make trades based off of inside information. People can go to prison over that. So Nancy Pelosi is known for doing this. This is how she got rich, actually. She went to Congress, I've maybe like a couple $1,000,000, and now she's $100 millionaire. And it's become such and it's not just her doing it. Like literally everybody in Congress is doing it. So when they go there, this is part of like how they plan on getting rich and how they plan on cashing out as a politician. Because it damn sure isn't just that $200,000 salary that they're getting that makes them all they all make out like bandits from. It's not the salary that they all getting rich from. A big part of where all these politicians make millions of dollars is insider trading and buying stocks off of laws that they're going to pass that's going to affect stock prices. So it's even more, honestly, it's even more corrupt than, you're in the industry and you know other people in the industry. You get a tip about something and then you act on it and you buy stock on it. That's one thing. That's insider trading. When it comes to these politicians, specifically Nancy Pelosi, it's so egregious because they would literally write laws that are going to affect a company's stock price, and they know is what they're doing, right? And they're going to buy stock right before they have a vote on it, and then make millions of dollars. So it's as corrupt as it gets, and I'll get into my gripe with the rank corruption in our government in a second. But Nancy Pelosi is known for this brazen insider trading. She's done it a couple different times. But a couple weeks ago, her and the way that these politicians get around what was I saying? The way that they get around or pretend this is the patina, the veneer of respectability that they try to put over their corruption. They act like, oh, it's not me buying the stock because their financial transactions, they have to be publicly disclosed. That's how we get this information. So the thin veneer that they try to put over their corruption to make it look more respectable is, oh, it's not me buying the stock in Raytheon and Boeing or whatever, and me going and writing policy that's going to shoot that stock through the fucking roof. It's not me buying that stock. It's my husband. He did it. I had no control. I didn't even tell him about this. He just went and bought the stock the day before. And what do you know, made $10 million off that purchase, that one transaction. Isn't it crazy? But it's not me, though. It's not insider trading because I didn't buy the stock. So that's their loophole that they try to get around it with. So a couple weeks ago, her husband, Paul Pelosi, buys like $5 million in stocks in this computer chip manufacturing company, right? And what do you know, days later, the House, his wife, the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, brings up a bill for a vote that will give billions of dollars in government subsidies and tax breaks and all these incentives to companies that manufacture chips, computer chips here in the United States. So the industry, this bill is going to put billions of dollars of government money into the industry. So that makes it an extremely great investment for anybody. So that's what makes the price of the stock goes up. Once the government gets behind an industry, you can't lose. If the government has endless money. If they're going to dump billions of dollars into the industry, you cannot lose investing into it. So that made the stock price shoot up through the fucking roof. And I forget, I'm so mad that I don't have it with me, how much they made off of that that investment. But it was millions and millions of dollars that they made off of that. And again, this is off of inside information. She knows that that's going to become law, and she knows that's going to make the stock price shoot through the roof. So she tells her husband to buy the stock, right? And this is all related to her trip to Taiwan. So the bill passes, the president signs it, it's law, the stock's through the roof. She made millions of dollars off of that, right? Now, in the middle of this dust up between Taiwan and China, she's gonna go and inflame the situation, possibly escalate to a potential military conflict with a nuclear armed power. And what is she doing over there, right? What was the urgency? What was the urgency that sent Nancy Pelosi to Taiwan immediately to reaffirm something that they've basically been saying for a while now? Why did she need to do that? It's such it's such shit timing. Well, just a few days ago, her son, Paul Pelosi Jr., in on the family corruption, just like the rest of the politicians, he's now on the board of a lithium mining company. So they use the lithium in the chips for computers and stuff like that, and cell phones and cars and stuff like that. So just look at how much the family's about to cash in off of this one piece of legislation that Nancy Pelosi passed. So now her son is on the board of a mining company that gets the lithium for the chips. And so now he goes with Nancy, and here's the kicker: 95% of the world's lithium comes from like Asian countries. So she didn't just go to Taiwan. She went on a tour of different Asian countries when she left. So and Taiwan is a huge manufacturer of battery packs. So they assemble the batteries and put them together. So Nancy Pelosi, out of the blue, goes to Taiwan. Guess who's with her? Her son, who, like I just mentioned, is now on the board of this lithium mining company. So now he's on a tour of the countries that produce 95% of the world's lithium. And the U.S. Nancy Pelosi just passed the CHIPS Act, which is a giant put billions of dollars into the industry. And now Paul Pelosi is going to go, and I'm sure he went there again. It strains credulity that all these coincidences are happening. So he goes to her with Nancy Pelosi on this trip with these countries that just so happen to coincide with the very same business that he's running now, or on the board of now. And you think that it was just about the U.S. Taiwan relations? That's not what it was about. Nancy Pelosi went out there to get fucking paid. She took her son out there because they're both about to get fucking paid. And I'm sure whether it was in Taiwan or Japan or in South Korea or any other country that they stopped at, they were cutting business deals, cutting $1 million business deals, because that's what she does. So here's the issue with this corruption, right? One, again, like I mentioned before, you're risking a possible military conflict over you trying to secure the bag, right? And she's already $100 million. But so that's one problem with this. But also, so with corruption in general, right? It might not seem like, because our whole life is literally, it revolves around money. So, especially regular people, you do what you can to get more money, and that's how you survive. That's how you live a better life. So when you hear that these politicians, or some layperson hears that these politicians are trying to cut some deals, maybe it doesn't immediately jump out as something as like gross and disgusting, right? But the issue is they aren't just regular people. They aren't like, especially they aren't like some fucking middle class person just trying to scrape by. No, like these are millionaires. But also, when you work in government, you're not supposed to get rich off of that. It's supposed to be. It literally is a public service. You are serving the public. You're a public servant. This is literally in the job title. So you're supposed, honestly, it should be viewed as like volunteer work. Of course, you have to get paid to survive or whatever. You have to survive. But that's the kind of mindset that you're supposed to go into government with. That I'm going to go to serve my community. I'm going to go and represent my community and pass policies to make my constituents' lives better. That's supposed to be the reason why you go into Congress or you go into government. But they completely flipped it, and the corruption is just become, and the legalized bribery and the self dealing is just so common now that people will literally they go into government to get rich. They say, "Oh, I'm gonna go and do all these insider tradings, or I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do a bunch of favors for the coal industry, and then I'm gonna come out and be on the board of one of their companies, or the defense contractors, or Wall Street, and I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna be on like the hire me to be a lobbyist or whatever, and we'll get this revolving door going." Like all they are concerned about is how they're going to use their position of power and influence to make themselves more money. So what ends up happening is you get a situation like this where the government is completely unresponsive to the public and what policies would improve people's lives in the country. They don't care about this shit at all. It's just, okay, how am I going to make more money? When it comes to Taiwan and this trip to Taiwan, do you think Nancy Pelosi's priority when she went over there is the security of the American people and the people in Taiwan and people in China? You think that was her top priority? Or like I laid out all the millions of dollars that were on the line, you think that's what she went out there for? She went out there and, like I said, risked and created an international incident so that her and her son could cut business deals. That's what they're done. So like I said, they've completely flipped what government is supposed to do. And it just, at every turn, and again, with every issue, it's become to the point where every major issue that's unaddressed in this country is because politicians are getting rich to not fix that issue. We are the only industrialized country that does not provide healthcare to the citizens. Only one, for decades. You think that they can't fix that problem? You think that that's a problem that can't be solved? You think that the U.S., the richest country in the history of the world, is so incapable of fixing this problem and providing healthcare to the people? No, it's because politicians are going to get a bunch of fucking money, millions of dollars from the health insurance companies, who would lose trillions of dollars if we had nationalized healthcare in this country, like how they have in the UK. They would lose a bunch of money. So in order to make sure that they keep getting money from people, charging people for insurance premiums, co-pays, and all this shit, in order to make sure that multi-billion-dollar industry keeps going, they just cut a piece of the politicians. And what do you know? None of the politicians in either of the parties are doing anything to provide people health care. Would you look at that? So that's how the corruption works. And like I said before, it's just that becomes your priority. If you're choosing between, my constituents need this, or can I make it to a fundraiser? That fundraiser is going to get me a lot of fucking money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably millions of dollars. Let me go to that fundraiser. And again, so instead of the entire governmental apparatus being used for what it's supposed to be, providing for the citizens, is used. Honestly, now it's being used against the citizens to advance the corporate agenda, which, like I said, completely flipped what government is supposed to be. So this is another example of just the rank corruption and how. And by the way, you could go and look up any of this shit that I mentioned about Paul Pelosi Jr. Just being put on the board of a lithium company that procures lithium, or you could look into and confirm that he was on that trip with Nancy Pelosi. What a coincidence! And they went to the countries that produce 95% of the world's lithium. Wow, would you look at that? Would you look at the coincidences there? And you go and tell me, and of course, sure, Nancy Pelosi might have gone there because the defense contractors might want, they're ginning up this hysteria, this anti-China hysteria, because it's making them more money. So her corporate donors could have sent her out there too. But she definitely went out there with her son and made business deals and made millions of dollars and created an international incident to do it. That's how fucking corrupt they are. That's how corrupt Nancy Pelosi is. It's great. And as if it wasn't bad enough, off of the same piece of legislation, her and her husband already did insider trading off the same piece of legislation and made millions of dollars in stock purchases. And that wasn't bad enough. They brought her son in on it. And started an international incident so that they could hit the pipe twice. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.